Generic greetings and welcome to Good Company. Today's beverage is a lovely, refreshing, and indeed cold grape and raspberry squash. Very tasty and refreshing indeed. One of my favourites as of late, in fact. Anyway, this is Good Company, a corporate machinery simulator, a tycoon game, if you will, where you set a factory up and deal with the logistics and inputs and outputs and hiring and firing and design of products. It's a game I've played for about an hour and a half, so certainly a first impressions only on this one. And as the as it typically is, it is in early access. Version 0.6.1b shown on the bottom left, just for the sake of full disclosure. So obviously it's not finished. There's going to be bugs here and there and things to add, and the typical disclaimer sort of applies on this one. I'm going to show you a little bit of the campaign mode, specifically map number 3, because I think it's quite a good jumping on point. There's also a free play mode available, and according to the roadmap, along with many other things, a co-op mode planned in the mid-term. But in terms of the short and long-term stuff, it's basically add more stuff. So let's go to campaign, and then we're going to go to the third mission. There is one over on the top left here, which is like a challenge mode, but we're just going to do the standard campaign stuff. I'm actually going to restart it as well, because I think that would be quite good to show you the very basics from the beginning and setting stuff up. So quick rundown of the UI. Top left we have options for in-game menu, the browser info for showing what materials we can get as well as what things we can craft. We have a music controller there as well, which is quite handy. We've got our time controls and the time of day it is and that sort of thing. Overall modes for your construction mode, so basically placing things in your factory. The logistics mode, which is connecting those things up, and then finally the employees mode, which is where you can hire and fire and assign people to certain jobs. Top right, money and our overall profit and income. On the bottom it shows our current goal, as it were. I was going to say quest, but goal would be a better fitting thing. Our overall market info, which at the moment is nothing, and then our inventory at the bottom, because as you can see in the center we have an avatar which are wandering around in this lovely pastel sort of factory here. Now we have to make at this stage to get to the, well, you can see there's lots of objectives to get to the sort of end of the map there, and we have to get, for entrepreneur 1, craft at least 10 simple circuits per week. So if we go over to our info browser and then to modules, we can see that we have simple circuits, which is shown there, and you see it requires 4 circuit boards and 10 electronic parts. Now the background does denote what sort of things it is. So this requires, the circuit board is in green, so it's like a intermediary product. This one is in grey, so we know that that is actually a crafting material, because all of these are like that. Actually, crafting material, there you go, there, yeah, electronic components, and it shows you what they are used in. And that's what we need to do. So we need to craft a total of 10 of these things per week, but they also require circuit boards, and circuit boards require plastic and metal. So let's deal with all of that sort of thing. We go over to the incoming zone, we can wander over and we can see we get delivery every, is it like 10 seconds or something? It is 15 seconds, like that. So it would be essentially, if, is it full day? I think it's a full day. Yes, every day, which is simulated by 15 seconds, we get some input. So I'm going to input electronic parts, 2 sets of metal and 2 sets of plastic. Now you might not know exactly why and how you need to order these things. It's sort of trial and error basically, but what I'm going to do, oh, we also have this little guy here, which is Colin. This is our companion, which you can tell them to say follow, or just wander around if you do so desire. When you create your character, you can set all these up and the look and feel of your character as well. Anyway, so we need to start crafting things. So just to remind ourselves, we are trying to craft the simple circuit, which requires electronic parts, which we've inputted, as well as the circuit boards, which we have to create, which require metal and plastic, which we've also started to input there. I'm actually going to turn them down to nothing, because otherwise it'll just start filling this thing up and we don't really need that. So let's crack on. Let's go over to construction mode, and we have our storage, our logistics, our basic crafting, and then decoration. I'm going to go to basic crafting and get a crafting table here, and I'm going to place a crafting table 1, 2, rotate them around 3, and then 4, and that will be, when we go onto this one, it shows you what we can craft. So we want to create simple circuit boards, yeah, circuit boards. And then eventually we want to go for the simple circuit, which requires circuit boards and electronics. So we'll go over to here. As I said, I'm just going to set all of these up because we can, like so. There we are. And now we need to bring the resources into these tables. Now what I'm going to do, instead of, actually, how do I want to do this? I could bring them directly to the bench, so I could go to logistics mode and bring them to the bench, or we could use like a shelf. I'm going to place a shelf like so on either side, because I think that would be quite reasonable. So we're going to go over to logistics mode, and this is where I find you'll spend a lot of your time, for good or ill. But anyway, we'll click on any of these parts. You can see there's a like an exclamation mark there to say not all logistics are fully operational. but we can sort that out. So we're going to click on this one here, and it shows you the resources that are incoming. So we know that these resources we can move, and we can click and drag them and set them to certain things. So we know that this thing requires metal, like so, and I'm going to set the metal to every single one. There we are. So you can set multiple logistics for that, and you can mouse over it, and it shows you what it is. You can also click on it, and it shows you each one of these as well, where they're going to go. You can also alter the ratios, but I'll do that later on. I'm going to do the same thing for all of the plastic. So those are now set up to produce that. However, they're still saying not all logistics are available because it shows it's going to use these to create the circuit board. So we're going to tell it to use that and then deliver the circuit board to there, and then we'll minimize that, and we'll do the same thing for this side, that one, and there we go. We are now creating all of these items, and then going to get sent to these medium shelves. So we can assign people to do that. However, there's a slight issue. These resources don't get from this zone to there by themselves. Either you can go and pick them up yourselves, or you can let the other people wander around and do it. Alternatively, you can also build, which I find extremely useful, a logistics point, where I'm going to place a logistics point there and there. And what they'll do when you assign people to them, actually, I'll go to move here and rotate them around so we can see them just a little bit better. There we go, and that's set up about right. There you go. So yes, these, when you assign people to them, within this area of influence, which we saw when we were placing it, they will always try to move things around between the points. They're basically labourers moving things back and forward, so that's quite useful. So we will actually go to hiring and firing, and we want to hire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. So hire employees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Let's go over and assign people to the different desks. You can see they've got no jobs. They've got like these sort of Zs there, so they're sleeping, snoring away. But we're just going to assign people to all of these, and then we can see that now what will happen is they will pick up the resources. We can zoom in there and see what they're up to. We can just have a quick look at that, and yeah, they are cracking on building things, which is good, although they're standing around the back here not doing much, because what they're waiting for and the resources to come out of here and then go and build the other stuff. So you can see they're being stored there, and that is good. So that is being crafted. However, we're not crafting the thing we mainly need, which is, if we go back, it is the simple circuits. So let's go over to, once again, construction. Over to our basic crafting, tinkerer table, and I will place a tinkerer table right. Do I want to place it right at the back, or should we place it here? I think here is fine. We'll place 2 of them like so, and then once again we will set this up. So we're going to say for this one we want simple circuits, and then simple circuits, because all of these ratios should be correct. The logistics should be quite easy. So from here we'll take that one to there, and from this one we'll bring that over to there. Now it's not entirely correct because obviously this is closer, so it might have a quicker drop off, but we'll have to see how that one goes. We'll do load balancing. Well, actually never, for various reasons, but I'll come to that later on during the video. So I'll also set up the electronic parts there to go to here, and those are now set. So then they'll have to be outputted to a certain location, which I could very easily just place probably another set of storages there. Is that fine? Yes. The orientation does matter. If, for example, I had moved them like that, they wouldn't be able to get access to it, so it does matter. Back over to logistics here, and then once again set that to there, and then to there. Hang on, minimize that, go to there, and that's that pretty much done, I think. Let me just double check that one. It is fine. Yes, you can mouse over it and you see the lines going to that. You can also click on it and you can alter the bandwidth, so you can increase the number of like people, basically the amount of the percent of what is going to be carried. So if you've got, say, 10 things in there and you set the bandwidth to like really high on one, they're going to prioritize that over the other. At the moment it doesn't really matter because there's only one thing, so there you are. Anyway, that is now set up. Let's go back over to hire employees, and we'll hire 1 and then 2, and then once again we'll scroll right down and then assign 1 person to there and then 1 person to there, and those will now start to create, although maybe another couple of logistics may be required, but we'll see how we are getting on. I'm just going to go to max speed and see if these are transferred yet. So what's happened is these employees here, they've actually went to get the items and then they've moved, they're carrying themselves, as you can see there. We can also see that the target inventory is full because at the moment we've been producing these for quite some time, but we're only just starting to produce these, so we're actually waiting there. Now that's a bit of a problem because I don't have the logistical capacity to really move things. What I'm going to do is put one of these either side there again. I'm actually going to rotate that one round a bit better so it's a little bit better orientated, and that should be about right. Once again, over to employees, and 1 and then 2, and we'll go right down and we'll close that one, assign them to there, and then assign that person to there, and then they'll start carrying that, and that is now being produced. And you can see we are increasing in our crafted per week, which is fine, and hopefully we'll get this done. I think we should be able to get to the next one, which is good, and then we can craft something a little bit better, because these are just the intermediary components. There we go. So, now that we've crafted that, we can start to design. So what we need to do is build a different type of desk. So we'll go down to assembly and we have a design desk. And I'm just going to place that in the corner because it doesn't really matter because we're going to use it. And we have the option to search for blueprints, and I'm guessing later on in the campaign when you've got a huge amount of blueprints that you'll be doing this quite a bit. But I'm just going to create new and we'll have a basic calculator. As you progress on, you get a lot more basic blueprints, but this is just the very first one there. And then you have the options at this stage for the casing here. So we can go for a simple case or a wooden case, and this will alter certain things, like for example the weight of the wooden case is the same, but I believe it has a slightly better value, and like for some of these things here, like the features and the drawbacks and such. We're just going to go with a simple case and we'll create the product, and this is where we get almost like a little mini game where we get the expected features on the right hand side and then the drawbacks as well. And as we add different things like LED arrays and circuits and all of the different power stuff, it will alter this one. So we need to make something so it has a processing power of at least 0.4, and processing power is shown on the right hand side, as is the display fidelity and the battery life, and you also get overall market appeal as well. So we're going to go over to the LED array because we need one at minimum, and you can see that it's a 3x1, so we'll place it in there like so, and that gives us some extra weight and also some mandatory fidelity, which is obviously maxed out at 0.3, you can see there. Go over to circuits, and we do have a simple circuit which will increase the processing power, and you can rotate these around and place them in like so, so that's now maxed out. Then finally we have the options for battery cells. I would love to place a battery one like that, and that would make it pretty cool, but the slight problem is, actually, will I be able to, if I remove that, I might be able to get this one as a really good calculator if I do something like that. And be pretty efficient about it, because there you go, we can actually get a maxed out calculator. So processing power is really good, battery life is good, and the display fidelity is actually 0.4 out of 0.3, so it's maxed out completely, but that is pretty good. So we're going to rename this GCalc because why not, and there we go. It's got a good market appeal. It has minimum feature value is 2, but we've got over that at 0.3 or above, I think, and that should be everything fine. Everything's set up. It shows you the required materials, but only the required materials for the base items, not the bits that we need to make, which will take even more time. But we'll finish the design there, and then we have our GCalc. Now, what I'm going to do, I could go ahead and start to design that. The problem with that is if we go over to our browser here, and you can see the blueprints, that's what we've just created there, and it shows you the modules that are required. We have to make a battery stack, and that's a problem because the battery stack itself requires... Oh, actually, no, that doesn't matter. I thought a battery stack required single cell batteries. In fact, I'm fairly confident it does. Let me just place the assembly table, and I'm going to check this out one. No, that is GCalc, so that is fine. So once again, I'll go for basic crafting. I'm just going to place this there for now. I'm just going to check this, and for the battery stack, it just requires chemicals, metal and plastic, whereas the single cell battery requires just chemicals. So actually we could go ahead and make that. I was going to make a lighter version where it was a lot less, but I think we'll probably try and get this one done. So we're producing these basic resources here. You can see there's a lot of people just standing around doing nothing. That's because of the lack of load balancing that I just haven't bothered doing. Let's go over then to move then, and we're going to move these tables over here. I'm going to place one table in there, followed by another one in there. We're going to place just behind that a medium shelf like so, and then the inputs for this one, actually, should I didn't turn the inputs back on, so we'll turn that on, and that one. That's actually the reason why nothing's being produced, because I forgot to turn that back on. Now it should start to produce. There we go. Embarrassing. Let's go over to logistics here, and we're going to bring in the... see, I tried to bring the plastic over there, and it won't let me because this is... It's F1 rather than escape. That brings up all of the all of the manual, which is very fleshed out actually. It's fairly decent. The reason it wouldn't let me move that over is because I was trying to produce a single cell battery which requires chemicals, whereas we actually want to produce battery stack which requires the plastic, which I was trying to send in the first place. So there you are. So it does have some features in there that basically doesn't allow you to completely mess it up, which is something I very much appreciate. So plastic, metal, and finally the chemicals. So there we go, those are now sent over. That is fine. I will assign some people to them in a moment. I'm just going to double check the G-Calc to see what we need for that one. Parts we need, let's see, it tells you the modules. So we need a simple circuit, 2 simple circuits which we are producing. We need 1 battery stack, but we're producing 2, and LED arrays which we need 2 of as well. So in reality, we probably need even more. How many producing the Tinkerer's tables here? How many are we actually producing? We are producing, it doesn't actually say, 10 circuit boards. And how much are these? It's producing just the 1. Are these completely full? Simple circuits, no, they're alright there. We're just waiting for the rest of it. Anyway, so we haven't got this fully balanced, but it's just for the purposes of showing you probably how to do stuff and how not to do stuff in this particular case. Back over to crafting here, and we want to place another Tinkerer's table, and this time I'm going to place it probably... See, this is where we're starting to get a bit stacked up here. 1 there and 1 there is quite unreasonable, actually. Let's move over to the other side, but this is a problem now because we are going to start to basically start using up a lot of the space, and it's quite far away, and that actually won't fit in there properly as well. Okay, I will place it over here. It's going to be a little bit cramped, but I'm going to just shift that over. Hang on, I was moving my character rather than this thing. So I'll move over to there. So place 1 of those, and then finally 1 of those, and we want to set these ones up to produce the LED arrays. So 1 of those, and then finally 1 of those. So we've got simple circuits on the go at the top, 2 of. We've got 2 sets of simple, LED arrays, and then 2 sets of battery, but we only need 1. And finally we need the cases as well. So there we go. I'll set up the cases. Do you want to just set up 1 of these? No, but we definitely need 2. We definitely have 2 of those, but I think we also need for the cases, I'm just going to set up the 1. So over to this one, and then we'll say 1 simple case which requires plastic. I'll check out the storage here, medium storage. I'm going to place that in there. I'm going to also move this desk out the way for now because I want to place another medium shelf in that corner for the finished items, and let's deal with the logistics of that. So these require several resources, but we'll say 1 and then 2, and then this one requires plastic, which is there. Now then the resources that the things that we make will go into that shelf there, and then finally we'll set that thing up to produce all of these, but only after I've hired another 5 employees, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we need to assign these to all of these areas. So 1, 2, 3. I should point out that these workbenches do have orientation and facing, so you need to make sure that you get that right. And those are now set up, and hopefully that will crack on and be okay. I will also, I think, go ahead and put in, where would it be, logistics, another couple more logistic points. I'll put logistic point in there, and a logistical point in there, and I'm probably over egging this, but you know, nothing exceeds like excess, or excels like excess, I guess. Go down to the bottom and then assign them to that, and then finally to that, and then hopefully these items can be moved around and such. We might also need to, I also need to apply some people over there as well, which I haven't got. So hire 1 and then 2. You can see we do have a limited number of employees, but I think you get more as it progresses on. Why did that not go? Have I actually? I'm sure I've got. I thought I had people. Yes, I do have people. Why is that not working then? Have I not got all the resources? Logistics. That. Chemicals. Chemicals, yes. Plastic, yes. Metal, yes. Is it just a case of they haven't been put in there? I think that's it. That's all it was. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let's see. Yep, they are now being produced. Okay. That is fine. they're now working. So we're getting all of those made. Let's go over to the top right then, and we will move this assembly line to, actually I'm going to just place it there, and I'm going to set that to the calculator, which I think it's already set to anyway, but I'm just going to double check to make sure, and it is set, Gcalc there. So we then need to bring all of the resources over to that one, and I'm going to go with another one. I don't think it will be produced all of the time, simply because of what we're producing, and like I say, the load balancing is completely wrong in a couple of places. But we will bring the LED arrays and the simple cases and the battery stacks, and finally the simple circuits. And I think we'll also get a medium shelf. There we go. Two more employees. And a sign to that. And there we go. Now let's see if any of that works. Let's zoom in. See a nice overview of the factory. In terms of presentation, I think it's very nice, very good looking. Very busy. Might not be efficient, but a lot of stuff's happening, so we've got that going for us, which is nice. So you can see the resources are being brought over there, and they are building the calculator now. Excellent. However, these resources are not being shifted by the logistical people. If we set up multiple logistic points and like bridges between the different shelves, then it would be probably a lot faster. But we're not really working on speed here. We're just trying to produce, well, actually we need to produce 7 per week, and I don't know whether we're going to get that just because of where they have to travel. Probably best off putting some more logistic points in, but I don't know if that would help at this stage. But let's just see. If we get this done, then we move on to the next little bit, which is fine. We got 5 out of 7, so it's not back down to 4 out of 7. Yeah, so I think it's one of the cases that we just won't be able to. We're just going to be off that one. So logistics, I'll place the, also routing around places might be a bit of an issue as well, because obviously they have to go all the way around that way. So yeah, my company is also going a little bit bankrupt. What if I move that there and then I move that to there? Then that might help out, because then they can get access around here. Let's see if that works. We should be producing some stuff. What we could also do, if need be, you can also sell stuff to the market. So for example, if I go over to these benches here, actually, let's 1 second, go to normal speed. Go over to here, for example, we can see we've got loads of these circuit boards. I can say put them to outgoing. Because this is just manually, this is me just literally picking them up and move them, so I'll put them in my inventory and then put them there, and that means that we will actually get some money that way, because, well, there you are. So we're still producing 5 out of 7, just not the exact thing we need. Okay, max speed out. The thing is, I've actually passed this point, so I'm guessing it's simply because of, yeah, we've spent so much and we've got a lot of people on the books. Oh, there we go. There is our calculators, lots of them, but we're not selling them, so we need to sort that out. So logistic network, that over to there. I am going to just pick these up as well, so I'll just go to standard mode, and I want to just pick up all of these calculators and then sell them. Actually full, my inventory is full there, so I'll just go over there and then just dump them on that one, and then get these sold, and that should give us a nice bit of money, because there's worth, yes, there we go, finally. So because I hadn't set that up, it was a little bit problematic, but hopefully that is now a lot better. We can hire another employee and go down. I will say assign those to that one there, and there you go. So still not producing the right amount they require per week, and I'm not too sure where the backlog is. What could it be? Are they waiting for batteries? Are they waiting for resources? We have all the resources that I think we need. Chemicals are there. Now that's incoming resources. Yeah, we should be fine for that. It's just we're just not producing them, or stuff's having to be transported around a bit more. We could move. Hang on. Move that to there. That might help. It means that there's a shorter distance between there and there. Company funds are running low. Yes, I am aware. That assembly table is... We're still waiting for resources. It is still set up correctly. So I'm just wondering why that's not producing. It looks to be... LEDs, I think. Yeah, I think it's LEDs because the LED producers are having to go and get the resources for themselves. Because that is... It's within one of them, but not within the other one. You can get better bits. This is something I was hopefully going to demonstrate. Although, is it because we're moving them there to there? It might be better to put them to the shelf. Right, that's probably a better idea, actually. We'll do that. So much logistical stuff here. Yeah, that's coming direct, so they're having to pick it up themselves. So what would be better is if we delete that, and delete that, go back over to here, bring these to this shelf, and then from the shelf to the table. Yeah? Hang on. There we go. That should be a lot better now, because it means the logistical people can go and pick it up themselves, and then take it there, and then it's going to produce a lot faster. And, are we out of resources? They're saying they're out of resources. Not all logistical slots are fully operational. Let me check. No, I mustn't have set it. There we go. It's now definitely set. Fine. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So let's see if that, over the course of the next couple of days, will speed this up. We're still selling the calculators. But you can see... Oh, and I think that's... She's having to pick it up and move it themselves. Move that over to there. That should be better. See, moving it back between the shelf and then back over would probably be the way forward. But that'll require a whole extra level of routing, which we, at this stage, probably don't want to go ahead and do. But in terms of the next task, we get the option for research, which unlocks different modules and different things to build and different ways of building things. Different options for like your designs and research, and also decoration, and just more things to build and place, and also more things to design to then sell, like we've done over here. We're down to 6 out of 7. Come on, so it's better. It's getting better. It just requires, like I say, more balancing there. But I think that's I would say a fair representation of the moment to moment, just not an efficient way of doing things in some cases. A lot of it's alright, but it's going around and setting all of the routes up and that sort of thing, and that's the difficulty that I've had with the game. In terms of presentation, cannot fault it at all. Feels, even for early access, very polished, and it's presented very well. I love the colours. I love the mute tones on it and the pastels, and just it feels very slick. A couple of things not so much, like for example, employees. Why do we have? I mean, this is only one small area here. We have this area over on the left that we can buy as well, and obviously as you progress on, lots more too. But for this, just the employees in here, we've got all these to manage in this tiny bit of screen real estate. Why not why not use the rest of it? Why does it have to be shoved in this tiny little bit here? Don't really get it. Obviously there's no, at the moment, skills for the people, for your employees, but that is planned, I believe. The logistics stuff is basically the meat and potatoes of the game, and although it is quite slick and easy to move stuff over, it gets incredibly difficult to follow certain things on. And there's no readout as far as I can tell. If I'm wrong, then by all means, Stanton would love to be corrected, where I can see what we're producing and the amount we're producing. We've got no active research. There's the research. As I said, you get different points. You can get LED matrix, you can get logic circuits, you can set these going, you have different benches and such. But I cannot get a readout of, at this stage anyway, how much I'm producing. Maybe later on you will get that. As I said, this is only your first impressions. But with the difficulty with the routing, at times, and I like the way you can alter the bandwidth and all that. It's, you know, it's certainly functional. It's just, I don't know. I found myself, and this is going to sound extremely damning, I got to a point where I'm thinking, this is not fun now. Not all of it, just managing all of this I found incredibly tedious to micromanage and to debug. And that is where it started to fall down. But when it's worked very well, when I've got things right. If I treat it more like a puzzle game, as in I failed the second mission, I failed, I think twice. I think I failed it twice. Went bankrupt, or whatever it was. And I found that went right. I've learned this, went back, redid it, and found it to be pretty good. I found, right, I've worked through that, and there was a lot of satisfaction from doing that. But at this stage, doing all of this, I know that this is wrong. And to redo all this, I wouldn't even try. I would just restart. That's probably on me, but that's how I would feel about it. Either way, that's a bit of good company. First impressions are good. As I said though, as I progressed on working through the logistics stuff, even though it works and is functional and we can see things moving around, it does seem to be, especially with the maximum like size of these, there's an area effect with within these logistical posts. I found it to be not an arbitrary limitation, but certainly a limitation that was very challenging to overcome, and it felt more like puzzle game territory rather than sort of Tycoon and management side of it. Your mileage may vary, honestly. Either way, like what I see originally, I'm just hoping that there's some more readouts and options for logistical stuff. And I mean, you can see we've got, you know, destinations and stuff. We can see where that's going, what's going on there. We can click on it, we can alter the stuff, we can change up the ratios of things and the bandwidth and all that, and it's all there. It's just, I don't know, I find it too micro intensive. But, you know, like I say, your mileage may vary on that one. If you like what you see, then check the link out in the description. Very much going to keep an eye on it, because I said presentation is excellent. I really like, very much so, this design stuff. As soon as this popped up, I was like, now we have choice, and I like choice. So do I want to over-egg the features? Do I want to make a really good calculator, send it to market, make the best of something, make the cheapest of something, make the lightest of something, make stuff that people may want or that's different from the competitors, rather than just saying, we're making 20 generic units of calculator. That sort of thing. I like the whole design and the little mini game where you're making the calculator from like the internals onwards. Pretty cool. Either way, as you said, links in the description so you can check the game out yourself. This is, after all, an early access thing, so things are subject to change. I've not encountered any bugs or anything game breaking, so that is fine. The only couple of times when I thought there was something dodgy was actually the rotation of the shelves. People were not able to get to the shelves because I'd put the rotation tag inventories full. I put this the wrong way, so for example I'd had them like that, and it's like, no, we can't access that. So it would be nice if we had, like, say, an arrow to show you. I mean, it's fairly obvious, you can see where the footplate is, where they would stand, but it would be nice just to have like a, you know, a bit more of a easier like arrow or something to say this is the direction it's facing or whatever. Either way, if you want to check the game out yourself, links are in the description. Keep an eye on it, and yeah, I'll probably check it out later at some point, hopefully when we get a little bit more to it. Either way, hope you have enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Comments in the comments. Take care, and generic partings.